right. Thank you guys for showing up today. Have you all voted?
Yes.
All right. This is the second annual Computational Law Blockchain Festival. We ran it last year in this facility as well, and we had an exceptionally good time. So I'm glad you could all make it this year as well. How many people showed up last year? Yeah? About half? That's pretty good. We're going to do just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. We got a very full day here, so I won't spend too much time at the outset. But what I want to do first is point out this code of conduct, which you may or may not have seen. This sets the ground rules for participation and attendance at today's event. And it's really just here to make sure that we're all giving each other the proper respect and boundaries that we need to in order to make this a successful day. So please do have a look at it, and I'll leave that with you from now on. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. This is their land that we're meeting on this weekend, and so it's important that we bear that in mind. I also want to pay respects to the elders past and present, and welcome any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people that are here today. Okay, so that's kind of getting the first part out of the way. The other thing I should say, we've got toilets just over there. Everyone should know where they are, but if you don't know, you go out here and turn right, and they're just right there. We're going to break for lunch. We'll have catered lunch today. You're all very welcome to stay and take part of that as well. We've got 4 speakers in the morning, 5 speakers in the afternoon. We're also going to have a break at 11:30 to do a Kahoot. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but I will tell you that you need to have a device in order to participate. Fortunately, that's 100% kind of compliance rate, I'm sure, given today. Okay, so with that, maybe I'll turn over to Dr. Philippa Ryan, or Pip as we affectionately call her, to do some more introductions. Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Graham. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. So I just wanted to say thank you very much, and obviously numbers are going to come in, they're going to swell, they're going to wane, they're going to increase as the day goes on. We've got a lot of speakers who haven't arrived yet, and it's really amazing to see so many people here the first thing in the morning. We sort of thought we'd just be presenting to ourselves until people started turning up, so this is pretty amazing. The 2 things I just wanted to say, in addition to the Kahoots today, there'll be a Kahoot this morning and a Kahoot this afternoon. There is a prize. This is a high stakes activity. You will see the prize in due course. I'm not going to show you what it is yet. And then tomorrow in the morning, we're going to have what's called Unhacking for Humans. It's actually a Lego-based activity. If you want to do that, we need you to register, please, because we want to actually get people to form into teams. So a registration will go up on the screen sometime during the day. Tomorrow from 1 p.m. we'll have the symposium. We do need, if you want the white paper that's been prepared, the discussion paper, sorry, it's not a white paper, it's a discussion paper. We have it already in draft, it's ready to go, and that document will be something we can send to everybody who registers. I'll email it to you so that you can see what it is we're going to discuss. The theme for this year's festival is governance. We felt blockchain and computational law was at a point where governance was important. So on that note, what I'd like to say is that I'm actually on the board of a law firm, and it's been quite an experience for me because for a year I've been on the board of a not-for-profit in the past, but the concerns there were more legal. Whereas here, this is more governance, my role on the board. I'm a non-executive director. And I'm also on the board of a managed investment company that has like $1 gazillion in investments with something like 200,000 shareholders. I try not to lose any sleep about that. But the thing about being on a board is it's governance. That's governance with boots on the ground. That's what you're experiencing. How in an organisation human beings articulate their values, but also their accountability for what they do, and show transparency to the community about exactly how you treat your own people, and then also how you interact with clients. So it's really fitting that after a year of being on a board that I care about so much and I'm so passionate about, and then trying to think about how you automate governance within automated systems like blockchain networks or algorithms, and how you bake in accountability into code. I've formed some very strong views, and I will be sharing those after lunch. And if you want to, there's a book called Trust and Distrust in Digital Economies, which I would recommend to you very strongly. It's not available yet, it'll be on the shelves in June. I wrote it. So it's brilliant. Basically, it sets out everything you need to know about the computational law and trust mechanisms and governance. So that I decided to write it up as a book. It's partially based on my doctoral thesis. So it is with incredible pleasure that I introduce a partner from Lander & Rogers, the law firm on which I am board. That's not why Landers sponsored this event, I'm sure. Nothing to do with my role on the board. And what we wanted to do is introduce Rob Neely, who's a partner in corporate here in Sydney, but does a lot of technology stuff, not managing the tech at Landers. I mean advising clients who have a technology interest. And Rob's been in this whole space way longer than me and is the expert. So it's a pleasure to welcome you, Rob. And thank you so much. Rob's going to actually say a few words just to welcome everybody to the event on behalf of our very generous sponsor. So Rob Neely, thank you very much.
Very analog of me. I've got some notes here. Well, thank you, Pip, and we're delighted as Land & Rogers to be sponsoring this event today. And it's the first time that I've been along, but I'm sure others from our firm will come along in the future. So I'm a partner in the corporate group at Landers, and I head the technology and IP practice at Land & Rogers. And I work in the area, as I was explaining to a few people earlier, so I do technology law, but I'm not a technologist, so there's a big difference. And I know there's a lot of people here who actually know a lot about the technology. But I'm quite comfortable with technology as a concept, and I'm always keen to understand how things work. And I've always, like I'm sure you have, always wanted to be part of a node. I've never been part of a node. So that's the first, that's fantastic. So look, just very briefly, so clearly law tech is coming of age, and so there's a lot of talk about law tech, but I guess more and more it's actually being applied and being implemented, and I think that's what we're about today. And blockchain, I've always thought that's got a natural fit with law because it is all about a trusted source of truth and records, and lawyers are into all that sort of stuff, and it's so important for things, whether it's property or smart contracts, a whole range of applications. So I think it's still in that formative stage, but it's obviously, I think, it has a natural place with law and with regulation. I did my masters at UNSW. Sorry, not your August institution.
How are you doing here?
Back in the 90s, and so I did a subject then called with Graham Greenleaf. I don't know if you remember Graham Greenleaf. And that was on expert systems, and so this was about how you can program computers to provide legal answers. So really, and I did one on, I think, on the then Trade Practices Act, so I think now the Competition Consumer Act. And but it was really like a glorified decision tree ultimately. It was if yes, go this way; if no, go that way. And you could program, you could do a simple program to actually get a reasonable answer, to certain types of regulatory questions. So. But I think it's just gone on at a different level of sophistication now, and I guess a lot of it's about data analysis and having large quantities of data which you can then use for legal technology purposes. And of course we've got blockchain and new technologies like that. So it's an exciting time for if you are interested in the technology. I think all lawyers need to be interested to some extent, but I think certainly for those who are training or just coming through now, I think if you've got that dual understanding of the area of law that you're interested in, but you also get interested enough and learn enough about the technology, I think that's a fantastic package. And I think more and more, I think that's what law firms will be looking for as well. So just very quickly, I just wanted to say something about Landers and what we've been doing in this space. We've got some history in this area. We do some work, some volume work for a client out of Victoria, which is Workplace Victoria, and so they do high volume workers' compensation claims essentially. And so over many years, we've actually developed quite sophisticated, moderately sophisticated technology to manage those very high caseloads and do that in a very efficient way. And in fact, the partner who led that group is Genevieve Collins, is now our managing partner, so she is very much in tune with that use of technology to create a better outcome for clients. So in part, I think our not a new focus, but our stepped up focus on technology is partly due to Genevieve, because this is really her thing, but also because the legal, the environment is changing and we need to be part of it. So we've done a couple of things. I'll just mention two things. So firstly, we've set up internally what we call an iHub. So this is essentially it's an internal development lab, if you like, which has got lawyers and technical people and business managers, and it's about developing new applications and new ways of doing things for clients. So it's done in collaboration with clients. So it's about solving clients' problems essentially. So this can be these can be relatively straightforward in terms of information sharing, but we're also looking at some quite innovative ways of adding value, if you like, to the clients. So that's an exciting thing. And so officially it is to work jointly with our legal teams to design and develop digital solutions that automate legal processes internally, so it's how we do things internally, but also to co-design with our key clients to innovate and implement solutions which truly add value to them. So for us as a law firm, it's all about better service and efficiency. So that's what all this technology is about for us, that's our interest. And we've also done a couple of other things. We appointed a very good person to our board.
Well said. Okay, you're safe.
So we appointed Pip Ryan, is that 12 months ago?
12 months ago.
12 months ago. So Pip was a very good get for us, and I think we had to fight a few other interested firms who were keen on getting Pip on the board. So but Pip obviously with her interest in law tech as well, so that's added to our focus. That's helped us in our focus on technology. And I've mentioned, sorry, I will say one other thing. We've got a couple of partnerships, one with the, so a number that are on the screen a moment ago, so the Sydney Legal Hackers, and also the York Butter Factory. I don't know, has anyone heard of the York Butter Factory? So they're a startup lab which is Melbourne based now, but I understand they'll be setting up in Sydney as well. So they do a lot of early stage startup work, so people can go there and then they're assisted by all the various specialists there within the YBF Ventures who can help them bring their ideas to fruition. So we are partnering with them, and we've actually set up within YBF in Melbourne a law tech hub. So this is actually like a little part of what they're doing, but this is particularly specifically for developing apps or developing technologies in the law area. And so at the moment we're actually looking for applicants for those who would like to spend free some time with YBF within this the Law Tech Hub, and I can't remember whether it's a month or 2 months. So it's having the benefit of being within this environment and having all that assistance in trying to develop those ideas. So that's an exciting thing, and we're hoping that out of that, apart from being, for the common good and good ideas being put out there, but we're hoping that things will come from that we can actually use ourselves. So if you want to go onto the YBF Ventures website, you'll see there is an application form you can actually apply, and it'll be very good. I know for some of their other incubator programs that they get applications from all around the world, so it's a very good thing to do if you're interested. So with that, I would just say it's my pleasure to welcome everyone here today, and as I said, we're very happy to be sponsoring, and thank you, Pete, for asking. And I look forward to two very stimulating days. Thank you.
Fantastic. Can I say something about the journal? Can I just have that? Can you pass me the prop I gave you? It's actually Graham's. I just wanted to say something about the symposium tomorrow. Rob, thank you very much. And that's a really, really lovely intro to talk about the fact that Landers is actually wanting to invite people to come and take advantage of giving some legal advice, because I do have a very strong sense that legal advice up front can be useful. People often think lawyers are just squashers. We can be enablers. I know I've told this story a few times, but when I met Vlad Zamfir just before they launched the Ethereum project in December 2015, this is before they made $36 billion in 3 months. He said, I said, what legal disclaimers do you have on the website for the Ethereum project? And he showed me, and it said the legal disclaimer, there were two. It was play nicely, don't be a jerk. And then there was another one, you're responsible for your own karma. And I said, no, they're not really legal disclaimers, are they? They're more sort of like a moral imperative, they're like a call to action for your emotional commitment to this. It's not really going to let you off the hook. And he just said, what off the hook from what? There's no law here. This is lawless and trustless. Anyway, yeah, it was quite funny. I sort of gave them some advice. The next thing I know, their website changed, and now the legals look a little bit like my really bad legal advice, which is hilarious. So in relation to the symposium tomorrow, which will start at 1, we will be live streaming that, and it gets live streamed globally. And we have students from UTS, who I want to quickly introduce now, and from elsewhere. So I've got a bunch of amazing people here. Can I just start with Taylor and Luana, who are UTS, and Ben, who's got the camera. Can you guys just sort of stand up and wave? Okay, and then I've got 2 people who are part of the research team for the international standards blockchain work that we're doing in Standards Australia. I'm the chair of the Standards Australia Smart Contracts Working Group, and we've got the most amazing research team, and that includes Millie Watt, who's up the back, and then we've got Chris Young, who's just here. Chris, you want to put your hand up? These guys are actually experts now on blockchain, because they've been doing research for so long for international work. They are part of the international research team for smart contracts. So they're here this weekend to assist with note-taking, mainly at the symposium tomorrow from 1 till 2:30. The discussion report that they took notes on last year and that was published went into the Stanford Journal for Blockchain Law and Policy. It was published in 2 parts. There's a number of people here who contributed to that. Everyone got credit in the end. And that is the first part. The publication for the Sydney node's work is in there. We were the only node I thought it was only in Australia and New Zealand, I believe we're just about the only node in the Southern Hemisphere who actually got published in the journal, which is amazing for us. The part 2 will be published in the next edition. Again, there's no conflict of interest. The fact that I'm on the editorial board of this journal has got nothing to do with why Sydney's paper was published. But it was regarded. Yeah, I know, governance. But you see, I'm being really transparent about it, which is important. So I am disclosing this as best I can, but thanks for calling me out on that, Rob. So this was regarded as, they felt it was one of the greater pieces of sort of scholarship and heft that came out of any of the nodes last year, and we're the only node that got published in 2 parts, and that decision was not taken by me. So if you register for tomorrow's symposium, that would be great, because then we can send you the draft document that we're going to be typing into, and the students will all be there with their, well, that's 2 of them are grads actually, not students anymore, so I shouldn't say that. We'll have laptops and they will be typing the discussion, and then we'll just be asking people to identify if they don't want to be filmed, but we can do that. That's all part of this code of conduct and giving permissions.